Hello, everybody, and welcome to a quick history lesson for managers of remote teams. My name is Wayne Turmel. I'm the president of GreatWebMeetings.com, and today we're asking a critical question. Are you and your team listening to your chickens or just drowning them? Sounds goofy, but this is actually a critical question if you manage remote project teams. This lesson goes all the way back to the Roman Empire, and I know you're asking, what does this have to do with managing using today's tools like GoToMeeting and WebEx and Microsoft Lync and the like? Well, even then, people had to manage and pass information remotely, and if you think you had it tough, imagine being in the Roman Empire with all that territory to cover and no email, smartphones, or other electronic tools, no virtual meetings, no webinars. So anytime you feel like whining, imagine being this guy. Claudius Pulcher. He was a Roman admiral, kind of a badass, frankly, and kind of the king of the high potentials. You know the type, undefeated in battle, admired by his troops, kind of like you, a highly respected leader of a remote team. Well, he was going to battle in the Mediterranean against the navy of Carthage. And like you, he had metrics he needed to follow that told him whether a battle was go or no-go, and then he was supposed to pass those orders on to his troops. In this case, the metrics involved chickens. Stick with me. On every Roman flagship was a crate of sacred chickens, and on the day of battle they were given chicken feed, and if they ate, it was a good omen and they'd likely win. If the chickens didn't eat, today wasn't your day. Kind of a weird metric, I grant you, but at least it was pretty clear. It was measurable. They ate or they didn't. And if you think it's a rather arbitrary metric, is it really any weirder than some of the stuff marketing comes up with in your company? Okay, there you go. At any rate, all the other ships in the fleet were waiting to hear from Pulcher whether they were going to fight that day. The problem is that the chickens didn't eat. Should have been a no-go. Pulcher, however, didn't much care for that answer, and he said the immortal words, "Bibam quoniam esse nolunt," which, for those of us that don't speak Latin, basically means, let them drink if they won't eat. And he grabbed the crate, threw the chickens overboard, drowning them all. And then he went on and attacked. Well, you can imagine what happened. They got their togas handed to them, one of the biggest defeats in Roman history. Pulcher wound up getting called back to head office and punished. Now, what was his crime? He didn't act on the omens. In today's terms, he ignored the data and the matrix and got really, really bad results. Okay, your team has metrics of its own, chickens that you should be listening to, if you will. Your team members and the people in your company that rely on you to share information and help them interpret it. It might be sales numbers. It might be profit and loss. It might be project information like milestones and status updates. The point is, you have chickens, and you should be listening to them instead of drowning them. In remote teams, though, we're responsible for sharing that information through technology. Email, shared drives that maybe nobody goes to or nobody reads. Maybe you actually share the information in team meetings or, heaven forbid, have real conversations with people. But it's critical because if your team doesn't know the metrics, doesn't understand how decisions are made, and don't understand what those metrics mean, the results can be the equivalent of drowning your chickens. And whether you do that on conference calls or web meetings or one-on-one over a cup of coffee, the critical question is, are you communicating that information effectively? The fact is, the technology you use is secondary to the communication skills that help people understand the data, interpret it, and take appropriate action. And even with new tools, that takes age-old skills like presenting and writing, listening and coaching. The challenge is that you have to have those skills, but you need to use technology to accomplish it. So the question remains, are you and your team listening to the chickens? And if you are you helping your people understand what they say and what that means? If so, great. If you and your people, though, need a little help learning to communicate more effectively through tools like WebEx, Microsoft Lync, and the like, well, frankly, that's where we can help. We offer training in subjects like leading effective virtual meetings, web presentation basics, and the ABCs of assessing, creating, and managing remote teams. You can learn more by asking for our white paper, 3 Reasons Virtual Teams Fail and How to See It Coming. You can email us for a copy, or you can go to our website and register for that and other free resources like white papers, articles, and videos. Just visit us at greatwebmeetings.com, or you can follow us on Google Plus or Twitter. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this history lesson for remote managers, and look for more to come.